This is the very best time to be developing new content. People are just looking for good stories, for new voices, for fresh perspectives. So what you need to do to sell something is to have a rock solid rock star pitch. So I wanted to open it up and ask the panelists like what they think makes a good pitch.
I love understanding what the inside story is and how the external story gives an opportunity to resolve or heal the internal dilemma.
Beyond the story itself, the story has to be great, that's a given. But as my fellow producers here also know that there are many similar stories out there, but what makes a different story is the person behind it. And that's the real currency of the pitch for me.
How do you feel about merging filmmakers, whether they should collaborate or not on these pitches?
None of this happens in a vacuum. It's a team effort. It's all a collaboration, whether it's a collaboration from the start or by the end of the road, you're collaborating with so many people, hopefully people that can elevate what you're doing. But because the pitch is so important, to be able to bounce ideas and practice and get some great tips like what you're going to get today, hopefully, you're going to be able to get that through your collaborators.
As far as young filmmakers and the concept of, the focus on me, this is my project, that oftentimes is counterproductive. There's one thing being true to your story and how you want to present your film to, voice whatever it is that you want to be saying. And there's another thing being arrogant and egocentric. And those are counterproductive qualities that are not going to get you anywhere.
And should we hear some pitches?
A futuristic, near future dystopian film, sort of with the feel of Children of Men. The inspiration for this was a few years ago. I was studying two completely different subjects. One was the life and structure of a bee colony, and the other was the current situation with human trafficking. And I wanted to tell a story about human trafficking, and I thought using bee colony, where the workers are basically slaves, was a good metaphor. My main character, Anya, 20-something year old, has to leave America, and she goes to another country. She has a situation set up for herself there, but when she gets there, she discovers that she has been tricked, and she has been sold into a sweatshop. She's now a sweatshop slave, and the thing that makes it difficult for her is that she has no money. She doesn't have her passport. She has no papers. She has no identity, and she doesn't speak the language. So she is sort of a victim because of those reasons. But as soon as she finds out she's been tricked, she does rebel, and she is punished. She tries to escape. She's punished, brutally beaten, tied to a bed, and learns that she must submit to this situation. And she does, and she does learn how to survive in this situation, but at the same time, she plans on making an escape. Eventually, she does learn the language. She is able to escape, but it's discovered that she's going to escape, and there is a conflict with the head of the factory, and it's a physical confrontation, and she actually deposes the head and decides that the slaves are now free. She announces, "We can all leave now."
What I think I was looking for more is why you to tell this concept. So I was looking for a personal anecdote that was going to tell me why this would be important to you to tell this story. So that's something I think. The other quick note would be I wanted a stronger sense of her internal story that the external opportunity was giving her a chance to work through.
You ran out of time on telling us what the story was about. And I almost felt like I wanted to hear the pitch first and then the inspiration after you got the pitch out, so I would understand the context. And if there were any gaps in my understanding, the inspiration would have filled in those gaps.
I think when it comes to sci-fi, it's a challenging pitch in general sci-fi, because I feel like you have to explain the world of it as succinctly as possible, ideally with a one-liner, and that's not so simple. So I do think that your inspiration helps with that, but I wanted to know more about, if this is a sci-fi, how far into the future is this? Is it very, is it very far? Like just is it 500 years from now? Is it 5 years from now, or next year after COVID? So I wanted to know more about the world of it, especially because it's sci-fi.
Italian guy runs out of his visa and he needs to marry a citizen, a girl called Nikki for the green card. She's a single mother, and it's obviously a comedy. You can say romantic comedy, but it's a smart comedy, we like to call, because it's such a problem now for people like me and other professionals to renew their visa and stay in this country. And the thing is that that's also why I think this movie needs to be made, is because we see immigration as a problem of poor people that we can't really relate with. But I have many friends who got deported for like stupid reasons, and like some point, like you gotta get married. And but of course this is a comedy, so eventually they fall in love, and eventually they go to Italy, because at that point he tries to use the marriage to get some inheritance in Italy, but then they come back and he gets imprisoned, so she has to get him out and all that stuff. But she has a son, so the Italian guy kind of becomes the father of the son. So there is like this family issue, which is really important. And but it's a comedy, so it's for laugh, and but laugh with consciousness.
Having worked on some romantic comedy pitches, one thing that I found is really helpful, Giorgio, is, and you mentioned it later, which is that it's based on a proof of concept. And I think that has helped with other pitches that I've dealt with, where it establishes that there is pre-existing material. So, and you inserted some lighthearted humor in your pitch. And I found that romantic comedies, or any sort of comedy pitch, you got to get them laughing. You got to get the room to feel like they know what this is going to feel like. So if your story is meant to be funny, make people laugh.
It was definitely very fun. You're definitely a very endearing person, and that came across to me. Again, well, I mean, I completely understand and relate to what you're going through, because I'm from the UK and I recently just got my artist visa renewed. But the whole process of it is just a complete headache. So, I mean, I was laughing because I was literally can't tell you how many times I've made jokes about I'd be so it'd just be easier to just do this, do it this way, but then, feel icky about it afterwards. But, I think because of your experiences and the way you were talking about it too, you being Italian, this is an Italian guy, you haven't gone through this process, I really did believe that you were the right person to tell this story.
There's some degree of, again, owning your place when you get into that room. Know that someone believed in you enough to recommend you, or they read through your material and said, yes, I'm going to give this person a shot.